It seems appropriate on Freedom Day in the UK that we celebrate a WWE legend apparently being freed from the netherrealm he was trapped in. Let's talk about it. This is WWE Money in the Bank 2021 Graded. For a blow-by-blow account of what happened at Money in the Bank last night, check out Jack's What Happened At on the channel just before this video. And for all the weird and wacky wonderfulness that went down at that show, check out the fails, the WTF moments on the channel later on today with Ross. We start with something that I think Ross is going to give a lot of time to. The Mysterios versus the Usos on the pre-show for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The Mysterios apparently quantum leaped from the Lucha Underground setting to the show. And top marks to Dominik, who has repurposed Slapjack's old face mask. Nice one. That was a weird bit. I kind of think they could have had more fun with that. Maybe had the Mysterios dressed in the attire they arrived in for continuity. Maybe had Dominik throwing up as he arrived. Maybe feeling a little bit sick from the interstellar travel. That's just my thought. A fun tag match on the pre-show this was. Jimmy absorbed a 619 for Jey, taking one for the team. This led later on to Jey helping Jimmy with a roll-up to win them the tag team championships. I'm giving it a B-. Fun old pre-show match. Nothing major to write home about here. Despite the very real problems of Jimmy Uso, they're very much staying on the path with the Usos and the Bloodline, and this was a decent enough way to start the show. We start the show proper, though, with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Big pops for Naomi, for Alexa Bliss, and for Asuka during the entrance and throughout this one as well. Alexa Bliss's magic. There's a bit of a hot point talking about Alexa Bliss's magic online. She tried to bring the briefcase down using mind control at one point. Apparently Big Boss Man was out of position. That's a King of the Ring 99 joke. You're welcome. Also, at one point, she took over the mind of Zelina Vega to stop her climbing the ladder, which it got a negative reaction from the crowd, which WWE turned the volume down on. That's real mind control, that is. Some of the spooky stuff didn't go down very well from Alexa Bliss's side. I think what happened was we saw that happen. We saw Vega have another go at the belt in a little cool spot where she rode the back of Natalya to get to the top and then put a sleeper hold firmly on Natalya to almost choke her out while she's up the ladder. But Liv Morgan stops that going down by... I think Liv Morgan was going to do a German suplex, but then realised there wasn't enough room, so just kind of did a weird hug to the ground. There was a lot of ambition in this match, but not a lot really panned out the way I think they wanted it to. Nikki nearly killed herself. I think she did a dive off a ladder outside the ring and into the ring, but clearly when she pushed off, you saw the ladder fall away behind her. Didn't get as much oomph as she was hoping. I genuinely think had she angled that ever so slightly differently, she might have landed really badly or knocked herself out completely. But she's fine. She's fine. We then saw a nice little back and forth briefly between Nikki and Alexa Bliss, just for old time's sake, and then everybody attacked Alexa Bliss and pushed a whole load of ladders on top of her to stop her using her spookiness, and the crowd booed this incessantly. Liv Morgan had a go during all the chaos, didn't quite work out. Finish is a divisive one. Everybody's on top of the ladder, or on top of several ladders, all punching and fighting each other. They don't sense Nikki running up the ladder while they're all fighting and just grabs the briefcase and then jumps down and runs off. That was the finish. Nikki is the Money in the Bank winner, which is a great result, but finish made everybody look very stupid. I'm giving it a C+. Quite a few blown moments throughout this one. A few of them I've talked about there. A few spots that didn't really land with the live crowd either. It wasn't the best women's Money in the Bank match that we've had, but it was a feel-good start to the show. Properly, I think that Nikki winning it is a great result, but I think that finish made the majority of your women's division look pretty daft. I'm afraid. The Raw Tag Team titles on the line next. AJ Styles and Omos defending against the Viking Raiders. AJ and Omos very much the baby faces here. I don't think they wanted it to go down that way, but it did. Tag champs dominate. When the challengers get a flurry, we hear AJ Styles chants. That's always a good thing. Omos at one point, nice spot from Omos. He gorilla presses Ivar as he's on the top rope. This gets a whoo from the crowd. It gets a near fall as well. Vikings end up double teaming Omos out of the ring. They hit the Viking experience onto AJ Styles, but Omos makes his return and pushes Eric into Ivar to break the cover. Nice creative bit there. Soon after this, Eric succumbs to a tree slam for the 1, 2, 3, and the tag champions retain. This is a C+ as well. Like this went quite long, and it didn't need to go as long as it did. And there wasn't much investment in it as far as I was concerned. Some of the creative Omos spots were good. That kind of upped the grade a little bit, but this didn't land, I don't think, the way they wanted it to. AJ and Omos were the favourites here. This match just wasn't massive. It wasn't terrible, which is why it's a C+. It just wasn't massively interesting, to be honest with you. Up next, the WWE Championship on the line. Kofi Kingston challenging Bobby Lashley. Kofi's Tron is a 2D platform game that should have been out on iPhone and Android yesterday. All across the big Titantron screen, it's like a little New Day 2D platformer. I'm sorry, if Virgil can have a 2D platformer on the iPhone store, then surely Kofi Kingston can. But that's not the story of this match. The story is Bobby Lashley just battering Kofi. That's what went down here. MVP grabs Kofi's leg to give Bobby potentially an easy start, but it's the only time Kofi gets a flurry. He gets shut down quite quick, and it's just Bob dominating everything. At one point, to kind of showcase the new vicious side of Bobby Lashley, we see Bobby put the Hurt Lock on Kofi, but then turn him away from the ref, so the ref couldn't see a submission, and then turn it into a fall-away slam, as if Bobby's going, hey, I've not finished beating you up yet, you silly boy. Eventually, Bob reapplies the Hurt Lock, and the ref stops the match. Lashley wins in very dominant fashion. I'm going to give it a B. I thought it was an impressive showcase of this new intense Bobby Lashley. Like, Bobby's lost his way on Raw for the last couple of weeks, and this is kind of Bobby going, forget all the accoutrement of being a champion, the women and the Flash VIP lounge and all that. I just want to beat people up. And Kofi, unfortunately, was the fall guy here for this new Bobby Lashley. And for the second time in his career, Kofi Kingston gets a clattering in a WWE title match ahead of a part-timer coming back to square up to the champion. Your timing's awful on that one, Kofi, but top marks, you made Bobby Lashley look like an absolute beast. The Raw Women's Championship on the line. Rhea Ripley faces Charlotte Flair to hopefully expel some demons. This has been the weird build to this one. Like, we weren't quite sure whether Rhea Ripley was a babyface or a heel. I kind of expected the crowd just to start meowing and smacking their lips out of confusion, not knowing whether to cheer or boo, but instead we got "We Want Becky" chants, and very loud "We Want Becky" chants that rattled Charlotte Flair to the point where she gave them the old DX crotch chop and even gave them the middle finger, which Peacock attempted to cut out. It's the only time that a cutout on Peacock was planned that particular night. So this match was marred at the beginning with very heavy chants for Becky Lynch, and it started off pretty uninspiring, and I felt you feel for them a little bit, because I know Rhea Ripley is very much trying to establish herself, but what they did here was they just ramped it up. I feel like there was an energy behind both of them to make this special, and they did. Charlotte controlled a lot of this match until Ripley dumped her outside. They got a flurry in. Charlotte spun it around. There was a great bit, and I think this was the turning point in the match, was when Rhea Ripley deadlifted Charlotte off the ground and hit her with a suplex. It was just like a show of strength. They were clearly slightly out of position, but she still managed to muscle her up and drop her down. It looked really good. It was a nice showcase for Ripley, and I think it got the fans back into it. Charlotte Flair, we rag on Charlotte Flair a lot, and I know we do, and I've done it on Raw Graded because a lot of her act annoys me. But you know what? Her emotional roller coaster was laid bare here, and I think it really helped the match. It was watching her get almost teary-eyed when she countered a Riptide with a DDT and only got a 2 count. Watching, like, she was talking herself down from attacking the referee when the referee saw her cheating. Her face is an absolute picture when she lands this lovely top top rope natural selection, and Ripley kicks out at 2. Charlotte eventually lost it, and she found a moment where she got knocked outside the ring, and when she was outside the ring, she batters Ripley's head into the ring steps, and then puts Ripley's leg between the steps, and then just starts kicking the steps like a proper aggressive side to Ripley, who just batters aggressive side to Charlotte, sorry, who just batters Ripley's leg. Gets back in the ring, applies the figure 8 on this injured leg of Ripley. Charlotte gets the tap out win. Charlotte is once again Raw Women's Champion. I think the 5th time she's had that belt. And this match to me was an A-. It started out quite uninspired and a bit confusing, but those "We Want Becky" chants, I think, lit a fire under them, and they managed to get that crowd going from "We Want Becky" to "This is awesome," and it was well deserved. They really went for it here. It was like a challenge accepted vibe, and this was, at this point, the standout match of the night. So top marks to Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley for giving us an A-. The finish even keeps Rhea Ripley strong. I like that. The fact that she had to use the steel steps to weaken her keeps Ripley strong for future things. Let's go to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The women's match was a good one, but felt a little bit short. The men's match fell a little bit short rather than felt a little bit short. The men's match, I think, surpassed expectation. Big E was a force of nature in this match, as they all were. Big E's, oh, by the way, Big E's Tron, which is like a comic book. Just brilliant. All the New Day have got great entrances and stuff. Drew McIntyre, I don't know if I missed this on Raw, so apologies if I did. But is this the first time we're seeing that little plastic rock he sticks the sword in? I might be very wrong. Looks like it's something that came off a mini golf course. That's the thing that happened. We get a nice beefy boy showdown between Drew and Big E early on after a huge collection of dives from Ricochet and the like as well. Johnny Drip Drip was a spinny parkour star in this one and formed a nice little alliance with Seth Rollins, and I saw some nice names for that alliance doing the rounds online. Hello on Twitter to Verti F Baby, who called them the Dripnamic Duo. Shane McCarthy, who called them the Drip Twins, and top marks to Paul Joyner, who called them the two-man power drip. That's a good one. I like that one. It didn't last long. Drew turned up, battered them both, and dominated the playing field. But then here comes flipping Jinder, Shanky, and Veer as Drew's having to go for the belt. They batter him with a steel chair and drag him to the back. We'll see you at SummerSlam for a 3MB reunion special. So Drew's done in this match. We get frequent reminders throughout this, away from Drew's battering, that Ricochet is effing awesome. Some brilliant, like a brilliant tightrope walk at one point, and there's a bit where he's on the ladder, he gets knocked, the ladder gets pushed, but he comes off the ladder and springboards off that top of the middle of the ropes and hits a dive that almost defies gravity. He's just amazing. There are a few moments in this where Ricochet is a show stealer. Incredible. Kevin Owens as well, like some great marks. Everybody worked hard in this match, but Kevin Owens had a great flurry near the end. Oh, by the way, Kevin did a springboard moonsault earlier in the match. It looked ace. But there's a bit where Owens is going for the belt, and you feel like Owens is going to win it, because every time he's hobbling up there on one leg, he's being dragged down by somebody else who eats a stunner, and rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. But it's not to be for him on this particular night. It's not for Shinsuke either, who has a good attempt to climb up the top rope, but ends up getting sprayed by the drip stick from John Morrison. That doesn't end up happening either. Owens gets dropped to the outside with a power bomb from Rollins that bends the ladder, gets a big air gasp from the crowd as well. Rollins looks like he's going to win this whole thing, but Big E then rocks up, lands a big ending off the ladder, gets straight back up there, grabs the briefcase, and Big E is your Money in the Bank winner. Excellent work. This match is an A. Everything a good cluster ladder match should be, and then a little bit more. I think everybody went 100% in this one, and I haven't touched on a lot of the spots. I know that Jack does in What Happened At, and I'm sure there's a lot that Ross will discuss in his show later on today. But the big thing for me is Big E winning it was a great feel-good moment. The right guy wins it. I'm ready to see Big E take that and run with it and have some fun challenging for a championship there. Maybe this is the time we see Big E as a WWE champion. That would be flipping amazing. Could you imagine? But yeah, this is an A. Absolutely. Absolutely on the money for this one. Pun intended. And then we come to the main event, the Universal Championship match. It's Edge challenging Roman Reigns. And this is a slow, methodical one. And a few people have been divided about this online, but I'll speak my piece on it. It's a really slow start. And you can tell that Roman gets rattled by Edge a few times. There's a bit where Roman goes out the ring to seek counsel from his special counsel. And Paul Heyman says, "What would your father do?" And then Roman gets back into the ring and becomes WWF Tag Team Champion. No. He gets back into the ring and just starts clattering Edge for it. Edge gets beaten after this point. Like, there's a very focused Roman Reigns who slowly wears him down. And it's kind of at this point in the match, probably the 15-minute mark, that we're thinking, let's really get the motor running, guys. Let's click into gear. Let's go. Edge rallies from this slow beating from Roman with an execution, gets a near fall on that. Edge gets a near tap out with a crossface as well. We see Edge's spear get turned into a guillotine choke. Edge manages to break it up by just pushing both guys through the ropes. We see Roman miss a spear. He goes crashing through the barricade, and Edge, it looks like it's going to be a count-out win for Edge. Edge gets into the ring, talks the ref down, and then boom, hits another spear. That was a really nice bit, like where Edge basically gets a double whammy on Roman. Doesn't just let him go through the barricade and then throw him back in. Then he actually gets back out, gives him a spear for good measure, but it only gets a 2. Roman gets back into this, though, and he goes outside the ring where he's greeted by the universe. "We love you, Roman." Ignores them. He gets that little bit of the steel chair that we saw at WrestleMania, and he's gonna put the submission move on him with that bit of the chair. You know, a nice bit of storytelling with a bit of the chair. Edge turns it round, does it to him. Usos try and get involved. Mysterios are like, "Nah, mate, off you go." Mysterios send them packing, and it looks like Edge is gonna take him out. But here's the problem. You know, that referee, he's been knocked out. He was knocked out when Edge barreled into him off a Superman punch. So this is happening with no referee there. Enter Seth Rollins, who kicks Edge in the back of the head, and we think, well, this is it now. Roman sizes up Edge for a spear, and Edge turns it into a spear of his own for a time-defying near fall. Now we've got a new referee. Like 2.99 recurring from that. We see, Edge goes for a spear of his own. Do you think this is going to be the moment? But then Rollins comes back. Edge knocks him off the apron, and this gives Roman time to poof, hit a spear for the 1, 2, 3. Roman wins. Seth sizes up Roman because Seth says, "I want to face whoever is the champion after this. I'm next in line." That ain't happening. Find out why in about 20 seconds' time. Edge gets up, batters Seth Rollins, and they go flying off into the crowd, and off they go. Roman Reigns gets the mic and says, "I think I'm alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around." Oh, dabadoo! Here's John Cena making his return to the company for the first time since he was banished to the Netherrealm in the Firefly Funhouse. Cena's back! Gets a big pop for Cena as well. Like, remember the days we used to boo that guy? Yeah, they loved him here. Big pop for Cena. Gets in the face of Roman, gives him the old, "You can't see me," despite the fact I'm right here. Easy, Tiger. And the show ends with John Cena standing on the rope with Roman Reigns just glaring at him. Now I like the way this finished, actually, because they're back in the live event game, aren't they, WWE? And they want to be selling people on, hey, the show ends here, but if you were live, you'd have heard first what John Cena said or did next. So I'm fine with that. As for the match, you know what? I'm actually giving it an A-. And I know a few people have said that this match wasn't very good, and I'm one of those that actually, I enjoyed it to a point. Well, I thought it was very, very good from both of them. I feel like it took them a little bit too long to get out of gear. And that's hence why I've knocked the grade down a little bit from it being an A+. I feel like it took a little bit long for them to get out of gear. And consequently, that's probably why a lot of people thought this is just a slow, plodding affair. But they did a lot of methodical stuff throughout this. There was some nice storytelling here. The finish keeps Edge strong, and it sets him up for Rollins. And now we've got our setup for SummerSlam. It's going to be Edge It's going to be Edge and Rollins, and it's going to be, looks like Roman Reigns and John Cena. We'll have that confirmed on Raw tonight, no doubt. But it's an A- for the main event. This was the right match to go on last, I do believe. Send everybody home happy. Welcome back, John. Dabadoo, dabadoo. Overall, now, get the overall grade for graded, and I don't want this to get twisted. What I do is I take all the grades that I've given all the matches, and I put them into an average grade calculator. So it gives me an average grade for the show based on the science. I've sometimes just guesstimated the grade, and I get people going, no, stop being on the YouTube. So I always do it that way now. So I get an average grade, and the average grade that it gave me, which I am happy with, is a B+. Great to be back in front of fans. I thought the fans brought an energy that no amount of Thunderdome nonsense can do. And I thought that overall the match quality was good to excellent. You can't ask for much more for a comeback. I thought the women's Money in the Bank was probably the most flawed of the night. But even then, it was still fun and it was still a good result there. But I think that either the Raw Women's Championship match that said, oh, we want Becky, game on, here we go. Or the Universal title match that gave us that sort of long, sort of old school style title competition. I thought both were very good. But the men's Money in the Bank for me was match of the night. I genuinely think that was the best match of the night, what they pulled out in that. If you watch one match from this night, I think watch the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. It's everything a strong ladder match should be. But there was loads of other silliness that went down at this pay-per-view. The fails, the WTF moments from Ross will be along a little later today on this here YouTube channel. And for the latest news coming out of Money in the Bank, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.